Hello everyone, this is CounterYolo, bringing you another video talking about Star Trek Online. And in this video, as we got surprised by a new starship, I'm going to briefly go over a lot of comparisons talking about the Vaadwaur Juggernaut. So, in this video, it's going to be pretty simple. I'm going to compare the Juggernaut to about 8 different ships inside the game, and then I will conclude by talking about whether or not you should consider buying the ship. Feel free to see the time links for jumping between those two different types of things inside the game, or inside this video anyway. So getting right into it. The Vaadwaur Miracle Worker Juggernaut is a Miracle Worker ship, so that means that it gets an additional console. Inside the game, the Miracle Worker ships have been nicknamed as Tier 6.5 or Tier 6U because it gets an extra console. That's kind of the difference between Tier 5 and Tier 5U, for instance, that the Tier 5U ships get an extra console and slightly better stats. But yeah, anyway, this ship has a 1.55 hull ratio and a 1.25 shield ratio, which is really good. It is also a 5.3 ship with a 6 turn rate, which isn't bad. And push rate 16, which is also not bad, but the inertia is crap. I've never flown a ship with a 20 inertia rating, but I have flown one with an inertia rating of 25. I've flown this guy, and you actually have seen this ship on the channel before. Well, the Intel version. The command version is quite a bit more expensive, but normally around 200 to 300,000 more on the exchange, just for one seat. But yeah, with an inertia rating of 25 or less, like this ship, you're going to be skidding to a hull. It's going to take a while for you to stop. So just keep that in mind. You're going to have to work around that if you're going to be flying this ship. The pre-offer seating is really good when it comes to offensive capabilities. It doesn't have a lieutenant commander's science, so you do have that to think about for considerations. It does have a commander tactical miracle worker along with a lieutenant commander tactical intelligence, which means you have a lot of wiggle room in terms of being able to use a lot of your specialist seating, especially the really high specialist seating inside the game. You also have a lieutenant commander engineering. This gives you a couple options for defense, or if you want to do the Ox to Bat builds that I will talk about on Thursday, along with a lot of other types of potential builds with different things inside the game. Yeah, also Ensign Universal in case you really want another tactical seat, you really could. One big thing for this ship, along with the Zenkethi ship, is that you're able to potentially have 6 tactical consoles on it. It's one of the big draws to these ships is that on Miracle Worker ships, they get an extra console, so it can be used for damage, it can be used for another clicky console for survival, whatever you really want. To my understanding, though, there's only 3 ships in the game that you're able to have 6 tactical consoles, and there's this ship, there's the Zenkethi carrier, and then there's the Maquis Raider. Those are the only 3 to my knowledge. There probably is like 1 or 2 more additionally inside the game too, but those are the only ones to my knowledge at the moment, which you're able to have 6 tactical consoles at once. It used on your ship. This ship also has innovation mechanics, which is crap, but it's there, along with the Juggernaut array, which it sounds like it's pretty powerful based upon what we see online. Comparing it to other ships, the Zenkethi carrier is obviously the first one we're talking about because it also has 6 tactical consoles, along with a commander tactical miracle worker just like this ship. Its specialist seat is in the universal slot, which is in a different spot than this ship, but if you pretended that this was also a tactical, you could do a lot of you can do a lot of similar things with this ship in terms of builds that you can with this one, with the exception that this ship has 1 less weapon. For the exchange, you have 2 hangar bays, so it is something to think about. Definitely, you're going to want to use this type of ship if you don't care about hangar bays at all. Recently, with a lot of weird ships that have been coming out, ships with hangars and pets have been doing an insane amount of DPS just with their pets alone, and the devs and developers and things have been trying to pull back on some of those traits because they're supposed to be more flashy than actually practical, but they've been outperforming a lot of other builds inside the game, so they've been trying to adjust things accordingly to try to scale those things back. Anyway, This ship also has potential to have 6 science bridge officer seats, so plus the fact that 4+1, you could technically science tank with this ship. Plus with the hull and ship ratio, it honestly looks like a science ship. It looks like a science carrier. So that has decent stats. You could use it as a science tank if you wanted. They're technically better ships, but if you are a whale and don't care about your money, you could use this as a science tank. The launch ships are dreadnoughts. There's 2 different variants. There's the Intel version and the command version. The difference is what the specialists see for your Lieutenant Commander Science is going to be, whether it's a Lieutenant Commander Science / Intel or a Lieutenant Commander Science / Command. Typically, the command one is around 200 to 300,000 more energy credits on the exchange. But other than that, the 2 ships are the same in every way. With Dreadnought Cruiser commands, as well as 1 hangar bay. Unfortunately, because this is a really old ship, it doesn't have a second specialist seat. It does have decent ratios, but as you can see, we're starting to creep up on those old, really high ratios again. And so I'm probably going to have to say that this is a ship, unless you really want the trait off for the ship, this is not a ship to go for in the game anymore. Our next ones we're going to compare is our, I think it's like 31st century carriers. I think that's what these guys are called. It's basically the Enterprise J and the other equivalent faction ships along with the Enterprise J. The hull and shield ratios are very, very, very close. Same hull, slightly lower shields. Now they're 4-4 ships instead of 5-3. Slightly lower impulse, but the same crappy inertia. And it's a Commander Engineering Temper Operative and Lieutenant Universal Command with Lieutenant and Tactical Science and Engineering. So it's decently balanced all around with that. Just based on whatever you want to put in the Lieutenant Commander Universal. If you're going to rely upon your hangar pets, you'll put a science there. Otherwise, you'll probably just use tactical. Most people probably just put tactical there. With all that, and the Gravitic Lance, the round one has a round the battle cloak. And these guys can all load dual heavy cannons. These are probably the 2 best ones of the variants there. Like a reconstruction as well, which is pretty nice. Like comparing these guys, if you don't care about hangar bays, this is one to go for. If you really, really like hangar bays, these guys are probably a little bit better. You do have to suffer with really low turning, so obviously you wouldn't want to be a tank with these ships, which you should be going for this one. They're still decent ships though. All from promo lockbox still, guys. But let's go into ones that aren't promo lockbox and start comparing. My first ones that I initially thought of was, well, let's go back to our classic Miracle Worker ships. Now, I'm not going to be showing off the Federation or KDF Miracle Worker ships from the C-Store because those ones cannot equip dual heavy cannons. Everything in this video is trying to be fair and comparing to this guy, and this ship can load dual heavy cannons, just like all the other promo lockbox ships that I've already shown. The Romulan ships, the special thing about Romulan warbirds is every single warbird in the game, every single one without exception, can load dual heavy cannons, including these ships. So these ships get innovation mechanics, just like any other thing, because they're regular Romulan ships. They have Romulan battle cloaks, and they can also load dual heavy cannons, just like a lot of the other ships, and like this one. In terms of your stats, it's still pretty similar as well. The difference here of about 10% is about what you would expect between a regular endgame ship and a promo lockbox endgame ship. So the stats here is not that drastically different. Same impulse speed, much better inertia, and it's a Commander Engineering Miracle Worker instead of a Commander Tactical Miracle Worker. But with the tactical version, you still have enough stuff here to play around with tactical stuff as well. In fact, if you really want to be super aggressive, you could do full-on Miracle Worker and tactical, and that would be that could basically be your entire bridge officer seats if you really wanted. Just gonna throw that out there. You do have one less tactical console than this guy, but they're very close. Basically, if you don't care as much about necessarily probably the looks a little bit, and you're okay with a Romulan ship with a 4-4 layout instead of 5-3, the Romulan Tactical Warbird, Miracle Worker Warbird off the C-Store, is probably a better option for you. And it has Battle Cloak, so just saying. And there's the Science Miracle Worker Warbird there just for funsies. This one's much more tactical focused, so this one's not going to be as valuable to you all, but this is also a decent Romulan Battle Cloak Science tank as well. Just going to throw that out there. We're going to look at our last two ships that we're showing, that I'm showing anyway today. First off is the Tactical Dreadnought, a Tier 6 Tactical Dreadnought from the Romulan faction. It's a little bit lower hull and shields than the other ship, but it is a 5-3 ship with better turning, slightly lower impulse. It still has terrible inertia, just like this ship. And a lot of the radar stations can be pretty comparable. If you make this Lieutenant Commander Universal Command another tactical, then it's extremely similar to the ship right here. And you're basically just down one tactical console in exchange for a hangar bay and a Romulan Battle Cloak. In my opinion, this is also another fairly fair comparison. If you're okay with slightly lower hull, for the same weapon layout and roughly same other stats, and care a little bit less about the Miracle Worker Bridge Officer seat itself, this ship is probably a better one for you. The other ship that's pretty popular right now is the Fleet Europa Battlecruiser. Slightly lower stats. Same thing with a normal Fleet Tier 6 versus a promo pack ship. It's about 10% less, as what we would expect. Well, a little bit less than 10%. This is actually a pretty powerful ship, actually. A little more defensive than offensive, but really low impulse, but slightly better inertia. A 5-3 ship as well. It only has battlecruiser commands, and it has ability to load dual heavy cannons, so that is pretty nice. You only have one great specialist seat, so that's something to think about. And you really need to put a Lieutenant Tactical here in order to really compare to this guy at all. But anyway, those are just some of the general stat comparisons of things that initially stuck out to me. Alright, so for kind of the TLDW of should you get this Dreadnought? So I'll talk about DPS guys first, and then I'll get into tanks. First off, for DPS players, if you like 6 tactical consoles, 5-3 starships, dual heavy cannons, and really high hulls, and are okay with really low turning, and do not want a ship with hangars and pets, this is the ship for you. Just simply the way it is. If you take it outside of that type of stuff, there are other ships that are going to start outperforming this one. But if you can work around those things with other consoles and traits to have better turning, probably the competitive engines too, you can make the ship do a lot of damage with a lot more survival. For tank players, if you desire a very offensive tanking build, and especially are looking for the super combination of the supercharged Sith Conduits console from this ship combined with the Overload Sith Linkage console from the C-Store Europa ship, those two consoles combined can make you pretty good as a tank without needing command attract fire. Because you can kind of siphon off some of the threat and damage from your allies and put them onto yourself. And that combined with the what is it called? The Juggernaut array. Some of that stuff there can help with enhancing your own damage as well. Keep in mind though, with this ship, you don't have command attract fire and you don't have gravity well. So you're going to have to do a lot more damage, and your damage is going to have to be a lot more spread out, or you have to be a little bit farther away to have your cannons, because you're probably going to need to use cannons with this ship, to be able to hit a lot more enemies. Just saying. But anyway, when it comes to all this, I'll talk more about bridge officers' seats and stuff, all the different bridge officer abilities inside the game on Thursday. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed this nice and short video. Yeah, feel free to subscribe if you like this type of content and want to see a lot more. If not, feel free to like or dislike, whatever your preference is on this video itself. Also, feel free to comment if you like stuff in this video or there's stuff that I neglected to talk about that you felt really should have been talked about as well, or different other stat comparisons as well to think about. Anyway, thank you all for watching. The stuff for the new winter ship is about to start today, so that should be exciting to think about as well. Feel free to start earning that with the one event there. Thank you all for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.